Hi, this is Adrian from Oswiz, and in this video I will explain the concept of value bets and how it relates to football betting. I've seen a lot of videos on the internet where people try to explain the concept, and I think most of them fail to explain this concept in a clear way. So I hope that after watching this video you will have a clear understanding of value bets and how you can incorporate this concept into your betting strategy. So let's get started. About 2 years ago, I started my journey on football betting. And at the beginning, I treated this as a fun way of spending some time chasing the thrill of a quick buck. And I didn't expect to win money, and I also expected that I would lose. What was unexpected was the fact that I lost the money that I put in very fast. And that made me realize that I was doing something wrong. So I went back to the internet, trying to research ways into making a profitable betting system. And every article, every ebook, every video that I watched was mentioning this concept of value bets. And while I understood the math behind it, because it's a mathematical formula, I had a very hard time figuring out how to incorporate this concept into a profitable betting system. And that was because most of the people presenting this concept were only telling half the story. Imagine a simple betting game of a coin toss, where there's a 50-50 chance of the coin landing heads or tails. What if I were to ask you to bet on heads or tails? What would you say? Keep in mind that I haven't told you how much you would stand to make or lose if you guess correctly or incorrectly. So what would you choose? And the answer is neither. Let's change the things a little bit and say there's a magnet on the floor that makes the coin land 80% on heads and 20% on tails. What bet would you make in this situation? Again, you don't know how much you stand to lose or gain if you guess correctly. Did that change your decision to place a bet on heads or tail? It shouldn't. Now, the reason you cannot answer what bet you should make is because you don't know how much you stand to lose or gain if you guess correctly. And here comes the concept of expected value. In every game of chance that entails a probability of guessing correctly and a payout in case you guess correctly, there's this concept of expected value, which represents how much you would win or lose if you were to place the same bet multiple times like 100, 1,000 times. The expected value is a simple mathematical formula, and it's the following: the payout times the probability minus 1, the probability of guessing correctly or the probability of an event happening. Now let me show you some example of expected value. In the first column we have the payout, then the probability, and in the last column we have the expected value. The first row we have the payout of 3, probability is 50%, and the expected value is 0.5 or 50%. In the second row you have a payout of 1.2, a probability of 80%, and an expected value of negative 0.4 or minus 4%. As you can see, just the fact that you have a higher probability of an event happening doesn't mean the expected value is positive. So the expected win in this situation is negative. On the long run, you would expect to lose money if you were to place this bet multiple times. In the third example, you have a payout of 7 and a probability of 20%. And this situation, you have an expected value of 0.4. As you can see, just because the probability of an event happening is low, doesn't mean you shouldn't bet on that particular event happening. You could have a team that is playing against Manchester City, and it has 20% chance of winning. If the payout would be 7, then you would be advised to place that bet, because in this situation if you were to place the bet multiple times, you would stand to gain 0.4, which is a 40% profit margin. Another example is where you have a payout of 1.8 and a probability of 50%. Then again, in this situation, you have a negative expected value. In the last example, you have a payout of 3.5, probability of the event happening being 40%, and the expected value is 0.4. As you can see, the expected value here is the same as the one on the third row, but just because it's the exact same expected value doesn't mean the bets are completely equal. Here I'm going to explain in detail how the formula goes step by step. So if you were to place 100 bets of $1, where you have a 50% chance of guessing right, it means that you would on average win 50 times. If you get paid $3 for each dollar you wager, it means you would receive $150 minus the $100 you wagered. That's a $50 profit, which is equivalent to a 0.5 or 50% profit margin. There is another perspective that you can take when thinking about the expected value. If you remember the formula for the expected value and you were to replace in the formula 1 divided by probability with the payout, then you would get the expected value to be 0. This means that if you divide 1 by the probability, you would get the minimum expected payout. That means that any payout above this payout would make the formula return a positive expected value. So minimum expected value is greater than the actual payout, means that the bookmaker is paying you less than what you expect, and in this case you would stand to lose on the long run. Consequently, if the minimum expected payout is smaller than the actual payout, means that the bookmaker is paying you more than what you would expect from the probability that you calculated. This would make the formula generate a positive expected value. And I'll give you an example. If the probability is 50%, then the minimum expected payout is 2. And if the actual payout is 2.5, then you could make a profit by placing that bet. So, in conclusion, value bets are bets where the expected value is positive. Sounds simple, but is not really that simple. This is where most people that explain this concept stop with the explanation, then don't go any further to explain the consequences of this formula and how you can integrate this concept into a profitable betting system. If you go back to the formula, you understand that the payout can make or break the value bet. The payout should be as high as possible, so you have to choose a bookie with high payouts. This means that their profit margin has to be as low as possible. This is very important to have opportunities of finding value bets. Most importantly, the probability can make or break the value bet. If you have a probability that is 70%, you can have a value bet. At 65%, you may not have a value bet. So it is very important to have a system that makes predictions, and the system should be consistent. I've seen a lot of people that explain this concept and then go over some matches. They look at the stats and say, oh, because we have a 7 payout, we have a value bet here. No, in order to have a consistent prediction system, you have to make sure that whenever you look at the stats for that match, you always get the same predictions. You look today, you get 70%. You look 1 week from now, you still get 70%. You look 1 month from now, you get 70%. Otherwise, it's just playing by the ear and you're not actually using a system. Another important thing is that the system should be tested. Looking at 5, 7, 8 matches is not enough. You have to make the prediction system run for multiple matches, 50, 100. Then you test what would happen if you were to place the bets according to what the system is telling you, and then you draw the line and see if that would make a profit or not. I hope you understand now what value bets are and how it can be incorporated into a profitable betting system. This concept, along with others, are going to be part of a full-fledged course on football betting that we are preparing. The course will be available for free. All you have to do is go to the link that is on the description of this video, subscribe, and you will be notified when the video course will be available. The video will show you the value bets, how to create a prediction system, how to test the betting system in its entirety, and even how to convert a losing betting system into a profitable one, which is a situation that can happen sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you can reverse losing betting system into a profitable one. So if you think this course would be something of an interest to you, go to the link below and subscribe. That's all for now. See you next time and happy betting. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed our content, please like the video, comment and share it with your friends. If you want to see more football prediction videos, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. See you next time.